In this video, we're going to set up Roo and create our first project. So what is Spring Roo? Spring Roo is a rapid application development tool, and it's implemented as a command line shell, and it makes it simple to build and manage Spring-based Java EE applications. All right, let's get started. Now, before downloading and installing Roo, I've created two directories in my home folder where I'll put all my Spring distributions, and I call that Spring Source, and another where I'll put all my Roo projects, and I call that Roo Projects. All right, so installing the Roo shell. First, go to the following URL and download the latest released version and unpack it into your Spring source directory. Now, as of this date, the latest Roo version is 1.2.2. Now, by the way, this tutorial is being shown on a Mac with OS X Lion version 10.7.4 with Java 1.6 and Maven 3.0.3. And the latest GA release version of Roo is 1.2.2. That supports development and deployment on Java versions from 1.5 up to Java 1.7. And you'll need Maven 3.03 or higher with this version of Roo. And you can verify your Java and Maven versions with the following commands. Now, once you've unpacked Roo, you're going to want to set up your environment. So if you're a Windows user, set your system path to include the Roo distribution bin folder. And if you're a Mac user, create a symbolic link to the Roo shell script. All right, we're ready to launch Roo. Now open a terminal and navigate to your Roo projects folder and create a directory called Intro1 and CD into that directory. This is where we're going to create our first Roo application. Then type the Roo command and Roo will respond with its banner and welcome message. Well, all right, let's get started. Now, if you're not sure what to do when you're in the Roo shell, just do what Roo says to do. And here, Roo says press the tab key or type hint and then hit enter. If you're ever stuck, those are basically your options. Tab will generally perform either code completion or present you with command choices. But before you even do that, you should know that Roo has started a log file of all the commands and actions you take. It's in your working directory and it's called roo.log. I mean, you should check it out. Let's see, we'll go here into Intro1, and there it is, roo.log. So let's start by typing hint and see where that brings us. All right, hint. All right, well, Roo knows it's a new project, and the very first thing we want to do with a new project is to set it up with the desired package hierarchy. So we're going to start by typing project, and we'll hit tab, and that tells us the next thing is the top-level package hierarchy. And let's try com.javachief intro. That'll be our package hierarchy. We have a Roo project. Doesn't do very much, but there it is. Let's go take a look at the package structure. And we'll go into intro.1, and we can see that here's the log.roo file. There's the pom.xml, which is the Maven manifest that will show everything that's supposed to be included in this project. Here's our source directory, our resources, log4j properties, and our Spring application context. Now, we don't have any source yet, but we'll get to that soon enough. Okay, so now that we've created a Roo project, let's scratch the surface of Roo and create a simple entity with an MVC framework underneath. And then we'll take a look at the scaffolding and the project as it builds. So the way we would start, let's create an entity and we'll just call it project. And we'll give it a couple of fields. But before we do that, we actually have to create the scaffolding for persisting that entity. And the way we would do that is type JPA, and let's just hit tab, see where it brings it. Okay, we have to set up a JPA. Now, set it up as a database. What kind of database? Let's do hypersonic in memory. And the provider. Now, each time what I'm doing is I'm just hitting the tab key, and then it provides me with choices, and I can type the first few letters of those choices and then hit tab again, and all right, so there's my complete JPA setup. It's going to be a hypersonic in-memory database with the provider as Hibernate. I'll hit return. It's done. All right, so now we're ready to create an entity. How do I know that? Well, let's do a hint. All right, and so our hint is telling us that maybe we should create an entity. So Roo most of the time has a good idea of what you need to do. So let's start with ent. We'll hit tab twice. Okay, entity, class. Now, as Roo is pointing out here, we already have a package structure, and so I want to create an entity from that root. And the way we do that, just like in Unix home directories, we use the tilde, and we'll call this entity project. All right. So we just created a project class. We need to put some fields in it. How do I know that? Well, let's do a little hint and find out from Roo. Roo's saying, okay, let's put a field. All right, so we'll put a field. I'm going to put two fields in this entity, name and description, make it really simple. Tab. What kind of field? How about a string field? Field name, well, we'll just call it name. All right, so it's taken the class project and put a field called name. Let's do one more field. And again, a string, field name, and we'll call this description. Done. So let's take a look at what Roo has done for us. We'll go over to our file folder and check out the classes that have been created. There's our package structure, and there's our class project. We can examine project. It's pretty simple. There's our name and description field with our annotations telling it that it's a Roo Java bean and it's JPA active, which means it can be persisted. All these other files here are annotation proxy classes that will assist, that are auto-generated, and you shouldn't be fooling around with those. Those are managed by Roo. In our next installment, we'll take a look at creating an MVC web application from this project, very simple, and how Roo puts it all together.